production facilities for Arts Insight provided by FilmBiz Recycling, a nonprofit prop shop creating socially responsible and sustainable solutions from media industry waste.
From Brooklyn, New York, check out my bargain Craigslist ad for a $3,700 studio apartment. It's Arts Insight with Andrew Gattoni. Tonight, Program Director of the Brooklyn Lyceum, Eric Richmond, plus Arts Insight Poetry Shorts. Vintage burlap, guinea pig skin, hemp woven, free range cowhide flip flops, Andrew Gattoni.
Welcome to Arts Insight. I'm Andrew. Here on the show, we feature some of New York's finest neighborhood talent from all 5 boroughs of New York City, and I'm very glad you could join us. Of course, we're coming to you from FilmBiz Recycling, as we do each and every week on the show. Liz, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, Andrew?
I'm good. It's the sweltering summer. And I understand that earlier this week you were in the Mermaid Parade, weren't you?
I went, I waved, I had a great time.
You were a sea urchin. I remember seeing you.
Sea urchin.
Yep.
That was not me. It was my twin sister.
You don't have a twin sister.
That's exactly it.
And
they have a double somewhere, right? So everyone has a double somewhere, they say.
And I was a crab.
So that must be it.
And that goes, you know, because my astrology sign's Cancer. Not that you care, but yeah. So I was the crab and you were the sea urchin. We have some interesting art of the day. This was found in the confines of FilmBiz Recycling. The name of the work, although we're just reading from the back of the easel, is, or the canvas in this case, is called Complaint for Formaldehyde Part 2. This comes to us from California somewhere. So we don't know who painted it, but thank you for adorning our lovely stage, and it is an original work. And I'm sure it's for sale somewhere. Just contact FilmBiz Recycling if you're interested.
They look like pansies, I guess.
And if you're not, then I'll hang it on my wall. Our guest tonight is the program director of a well-known art venue that used to be a historic Gowanus bathhouse until about 1910. This former computer database whiz turned the old space into a renowned art institution that houses a gallery, gym, convention hall, rehearsal, and performance space. A cultural and artistic hub in a nutshell. The 4th Avenue venue hosts happenings that range from professional plays, community theater, high school drama, feature film shoots, and a space where cultural activity and artisan goods converge. You have any guess as to where I'm referring to?
I can't say because I know. Right. I am in the know.
Well, for those who are not in the know and those who probably are in the know,
we're going to get them in the know.
It's the Brooklyn Lyceum that I'm referring to. Please welcome to the show Eric Richmond and the Brooklyn Lyceum. Welcome to the show, Eric Richmond.
Thank you.
Pleasure to have you on. So tell me a little bit about your background.
I computer science degree, did a lot of work in the tech field for a number of years, and got involved in the arts, and here I am.
Cool. I heard that you are a little bit of a Brooklyn file, as well as a historic file, or however you call it, from what I read.
Yeah, I'll take that.
What drew you to the former bathhouse on 4th Avenue and President?
I used to live in Carroll Gardens, and I belonged to a gym up on Eastern Parkway, and I used to drive up and down Union Street once, every couple of days. And there's a big for sale sign on it. I always wondered what it was. Eventually was able to take a look at the space, and over the course of a year or so got into negotiations and was able to obtain it. I mean, it was kind of odd that it was such a beautiful building on top of a subway stop, but most of 4th Avenue, very much different than it is today, was no man's land. I mean, you would go there, you'd see the people walk by in the morning with their suits and ties to go into Lower Manhattan or Midtown to work, but you wouldn't actually see anybody during the day. It was just they go in for the commute, come out for the commute, and 4th Avenue was essentially vacant other than that.
Did you hear of any word from any developers or friends or just people who were in the know that they were going to try and do something with this space? Was there anything that sort of gave you an inkling?
No. I mean, I had, luckily for my job, been around the country in some major cities on expense account. I spent about 6 or 7 years in Chicago, and I got to see most of the theaters that are in Chicago, whether they're off-Broadway style or off-Broadway. I was always fond of Brooklyn. I lived there, when I came back from Chicago. And I think it was pre anybody caring about development. I mean, if you look at some of the development that went up even as late as 2003, there's nothing facing 4th Avenue. Like and I think that was a statement by the architects and developers that as much as it might be a place for them to build, on the avenue wasn't a place that they wanted to be. And less of that is happening now. Some of the developments that have happened in the last 3 or 4 years, they're more in tune with that type of, 4th Avenue being, although it's wide and a little bit noisy, the right place to front on.
Well, it seems that particular area, if I may, especially where we're seated right now, because we're not too far from the Brooklyn Lyceum. In fact, we're steps from it. And around the corner from us were some startup galleries, and of course the Brooklyn Lyceum. It seemed like a nice little nexus of culture and arts in Park Slope on 4th Avenue at least. Where did you come up with the idea for the Brooklyn Lyceum? How did it come to be?
Surprisingly, I just came across the term Lyceum. I kind of had it in the back of my head, and when we bought the building, it had its original name, which it still is. It's Public Bath Number 7. It was the 7th of several bathhouses commissioned around 1904 in response to some of the epidemics that had occurred around the city. They figured if they made a nice place for people to come take baths and showers, that they would be cleaner and healthier. And it's one of the few of the 7 that were built. I think 3 are still standing. It wasn't, an overt thought on my end. It just, I had the opportunity. I saw it. I was just lucky that I happened in at the time that I did.
So let's talk about the mission of the Brooklyn Lyceum and what goes on there.
The mission, I won't say it's changed, but the activity mix changes year to year. But the general thing is that we think of it as Brooklyn's medieval town square. You can have a market one day, a fair the next day, and a public hanging the next if you want. There just shouldn't be any boundaries. So we've had pretty much everything. In some ways, it's kind of difficult because the theater activities that occur in the building have to make sure that they make room for the other activities.
I think that's good, especially for at least the radius within where Brooklyn Lyceum is located, especially to draw people together, a place that sort of unifies. Well, that's
it is, and its goal is to be a theater, and the goal is to have long-running, excellent theater, but it's also to serve the community in a sense of being, there aren't that many large spaces available to people to use for things like this. Most of them get cut up or turned into Rite Aids, so the goal is to make sure that we keep doing things that the public comes in for.
So how, in a way, does it support the thriving Gowanus arts community?
We try to, when a good idea comes to us, we try to make sure that we make it affordable for people. We're not necessarily a free space for community events, but the price that someone would get for a panel discussion or something like that is significantly off what a wedding would pay. And we try to allow the mix to happen as long as it fits within certain constraints for us. We try to be as accessible as we can. And sometimes it works. Sometimes, people find, other places do things because we're too large of a space. If you're going to do an event that draws 25 people, a 300-person space is a big cavern, so it may not be the right space, and we have to judge whether that can work for us.
Let's talk about one thing that I thought was somewhat interesting. And there's a real sort of DIY approach going on at the Brooklyn Lyceum. It's not as though you have, when you're fixing, and you are undergoing renovations now.
I mean, the renovation is kind of a dirty word. It's been under some form of renovation since 1994 when we first started getting involved with the building. So we're doing a level of renovation now that, it's kind of humorous that for a bathhouse we have horrible bathrooms. And that's a project that we're working on this summer to actually clean those up, make them brighter, get them better ventilated, just all the things to make it be a more pleasant place to be. We're also redoing our cafe to be more of a marketplace for independent products, things that aren't done by large corporations.
Is it sort of part of the work of professionals who are doing the fixings in there to beautify the space, or is it a team effort that everyone...
It's a team effort because, quite honestly, a lot of it's just cleaning and painting and scrubbing, and we had a long debate about when and how to fix the windows. The windows that were landmarked in 1980 something were the renovation style windows from the 30s and not the original windows. And so, but the original windows cost $200,000-300,000 to renovate, and we kept holding off renovating for year after year on the theory that we would somehow make enough money to afford the really nice Frank Lloyd Wright-ish offset metal rectangular windows that we can show you in an old drawing that we have. But like any other arts facility, the money's not sitting there, so we're going to clean up and restore the wood frame windows that look like a gymnasium and have those in there for a few years. And when we get back to that, we'll do it. So it's been some kind of pent up desires to fix a few things, and they aren't necessarily rocket science or large project worthy. But look at the building. It's got 15 or 16 windows that are 12 foot by 9 foot, and they all need to be scraped, painted, wood filled, sanded, painted, and fit with new glass.
And are you welcoming the assistance of those who are hobbyists or those who...
Oh, absolutely. It's just that we have a list of things to do, and we're just trying to grind through them.
Well, if there's anyone out there who has architectural knowledge and history and has a passion and has, who's handy with carpentry and tools and renovation and contracting, please, by all means, contact this man and do your part. Certainly, I think it would be neat community service for the arts, and I think a very worthy cause and worthy of your help. Eric, it was a pleasure to have you on the program.
Thank you.
Appreciate
it's been a pleasure.
it. And,
thank you.
And certainly, if you want to find out more, do visit their website. The website is?
BrooklynLyceum.com.
BrooklynLyceum.com. Pleasure to have you on the show. Eric Richmond, everyone, and the Brooklyn Lyceum. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Arts Insight. If you're just tuning in, you missed a wonderful guest by the name of Eric Richmond and the wonderful Brooklyn Lyceum Theater, where culture and arts and commerce intersect.
That's right. Intellect, design, art, everything Brooklyn could bring to it, it can go right there. I'm inspired.
This is interesting. It's a special segment that we feature on the show and often recur when we don't have anything for our second act of the show. It's called Arts Insight Poetry Shorts. Tell us about Arts Insight Poetry.
Arts Insight Poetry Shorts was created a long time ago on Arts Insight, and we feature poets from all over that come to New York, and they're out doing their thing. And we've been asking people to send in their poetry, their haikus, sonnets, free form, so that we could feature them.
Let's take a look.
חיכיתי לך שתבואי ותצילי אותי, תניחי אותי על ענן גבוה. אני אשב עליו ואתבונן על העולם הזה, עולם שהולך ונגמר. את לא באת, את לא התעניינת, רק נגעת וברחת. אז המשכתי לזוז כי אין לי ברירה. אני אתעדה במראה השחורה. אמצא סיבות שונות ומשונות, אנסה בלעדייך לחיות, בלעדייך לדעות. הימים יעברו, יחלפו השעות, בטוח שיהיו עוד המון חוויות, תאונות, נפילות, תאומות. דבר אחד אני יודעת, לבד אני גובעת. Okay, now I try to create an English version, not the same translation, very simple. Beauty is blue, blue is beauty. The best things in life are all blue. Sky is blue, sea is blue, even love is blue. Blue is sad, sad is deep. And as deep as you get, that's how blue you become. That is actually why I feel so blue. Most of the time. Sorry. Except for the times in which I fly in the sky or swim in the big sea of love. Well, the idea behind these songs is obviously love. I've been dealing with it a lot. I like to write about it. It's a concept which I haven't really got to realize or to experience in a very full way. I believe it's the only meaning in life. Sometimes I feel that life is very hard to carry around and very complicated. And I think that love is something that can lift you up, take you out from the everyday things. It can wipe away the time, give things different proportions, different taste. And I really think that's the goal, and this is why we're here for. So I like to write about it, and hopefully everybody can experience it at least once in their life and realize, of course, that it's a very, very beautiful concept. And that's all. Any questions?
Around the table, homemade wine is poured and passed. Children whine with delicious need. In a singular moment of silence, my aunt asks if anyone wants to say grace. I think of my cousin, whose bulging left calf displays a large inked cross, or my godmother, who has a tawny gold one around her pink neck, or my girlfriend, who was forced to church every Sunday of her childhood, or my brother, who has found God as an adult and reads his Bible every day like practicing the stretch of octaves on his piano. Surprising myself, I immediately offer. I thank my Aunt Marie for hosting us all in two parallel tables crammed into her cozy dining room. I thank everyone present for being so. And I thank the farmers for the food, and I stop after I quickly extol the universe itself. I don't mention God. My grandmother, sitting a few folding chairs to my left, who's approaching 100, softly comments, I've always thanked the farmers too, remembering a different decade. I'm overcome with love for her and this Gravitt family she's created. Some of us have died, some have been in prison, some have fought in wars. Some of us have protested war in front of the White House. Some of us have physically attacked others at the table. Some have physically attacked themselves. Some of us have PhDs, and some will never finish high school. Some of us have not been able to stay out of rehab. Some sneak cigarettes and convince themselves no one will notice their smoky breath when they kiss goodbye. Some have just started talking. Some have said things they regret. Some of us judge some of us without ever saying a word. All of us have forgiven someone here for something we have now forgotten. With a chorus of salute, glasses click into a crescendo of chaos.
We've tuned our thimbles to some ungulate on a lawn. Something has stirred the warren. Some sect is rising. We feel it populating. We feel the ungulate aching. Are we arranged right? Mayor says probably just rabbits riffling the prairie. Still, he calls the tomboys who found that calf on her side by the sluice. She'd been exsanguinated and cleaned, her udders snipped like cactus fruits. Aliens come to Abilene, take box elder and blue stem, then drain the calves. Clay Merchant woke one morning to find he'd divorced his wife. He got up and baptized his lawn, and sheriff said what's municipal is allowed. Take 2 cottontails and go. We convey purses to the Apache because that fellow back in Yuma, the one with the Levi's shop, said take this big box to the Apache. Got clothes and equipment in it. Put it in that hearse of yours and do not open it unless some cop pulls you over for going too fast, which happens at Roosevelt near Ann's Bakery, near Ann behind that bread counter, and going on R.E. Martin Luther King sales at Walmart saying stuff's on sale on account of Martin Luther King to Geronimo, who handles a brioche and ponders a Martin Luther discount on Sterno, saying something R.E. Correcho, seeming to settle down, saying when Coronado came out his tent to ask who they were eating walnuts. He was frustrated, having searched the Harahe all naked with things on their heads and that copper bell they got, having found nothing but a copper bell. That bush-hacking conquistador still smelling some gold somewhere, conceding in the private of his book a goodness, R.E. the thatching, the fields of plum and mulberry. And now these Correchos roaming the plain with buffalo. Curse these eyes, wrote he, curse this horse, curse this eye of this horse, and that eye too, and back and forth went he between Correchos and Harahe, until he summoned the Lord, and the Harahe obliged, and 200 men in coyote skins brought the Lord unto him, and when he, Coronado, from atop his tall white ungulate muttered something, re the love of St. John, 3 talons fell upon the helmets, wounding the ungulates, and as we say, when an enemy comes in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. As Martin was saying, he was saying, look, I was writing, signing my book for some lady. Next minute, I felt a beating on my chest. That blade had gone through, and x-rays revealed the tip of the blade on the edge of my aorta, and once that's punctured, you drown in your own blood. That's the end of you. Had I sneezed? Had I sneezed, I'd have died. Cops taking my organs like that cop on that CB, ordering some shepherd to search our Pontiac, sniff that box of purses waiting like Turks in us, those canyon guides, those salesmen saying, come Huachuca, we'll forage for a bean, a dime a bean, got gold in a bean, and that dog penetrating our Pontiac, and that cop ripping our ribs for those blue sequins in our chests, Belen Enchendias, English retreads, the Prada, Louis Vuitton, Rule number 925, the Hansen Gross, Birkin, Vera Bradley, the Hester Von Egan, the Wolves, the Ships, the White.
Black cloud follows me like I'm on Twitter. And this black cloud rains black nonsense, that's why I'm up to my neck in it. My soul feels so black. No light shines inside of me. And when it does, it's with a black bulb. I cry black tears. Feels like tar is oozing from my soul. I could have sworn when I walked past the mirror the other day, I saw a black monkey on my back, but when I doubled back, it was just black ass me with my black ass soul. When I cry, it hurts. Feels like my chest caves in and I'm no longer capable of breathing. Feels like the black cloud that's following me says, kill her. Just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. Kill her just enough so she's in between life and death and she's unsure of what's left. I find myself looking in the mirror and I don't know this face that's looking back at me. Those eyes, those ears, those lips, it kind of resembles me, but it's not exactly she. Lost in this whirlwind of confusion, not knowing which way I'm going, and I'm telling everyone with silence that I'm losing me. And unfortunately, not one friend or family member hears me. So don't wait. Don't wait until that pill bottle is empty. Don't wait until a butter knife makes a ring around my wrist. Don't wait until the oven is empty of gas. Don't wait until that belt buckle is making a dance on my neck as I hang from the shower. Don't wait until I decide that one bus looks like my fate. To say, oh, she was a nice girl.
Blessings are pouring down on me. Umbrella, no thank you, please. Blessings are rushing to my feet like ocean waves. And I want to keep my socks and sneakers on. Because when I take them off and dry my feet, I want to stick my skin back in my cold sneaks and feel the chills of God's abundance bump up on my legs, arms, and make my choppers chatter. Then I want to hang my socks on the line so the breeze can stiffen them and put on a new pair so everything that I wear can experience the feel of God. Blessings engulf me like a 6-foot pool to my 5'4" frame as if I jumped in the deep end, not realizing how deep it truly was. Like God, I let God in my life knowing God was good, then realized how excellent is thy name. I use cooling water like rain to wash away the shame and cast away the blame. Now I've been baptized for the countless time, but now I wash my soul with words and drown my sorrows in stanzas. Thank you. One more. The goal is to tell you something. The goal is to let you know that something's coming. The goal is to make sure we all have hard bottoms on, because those are hard to run in. Remember, every morning involves the sun in, possibly a gun to pack a prayer in, or one to disappear in. What would you do if the money stopped coming? If there was no more score to reach for, would your knock down on opportunity's door keep constant? What would you do if you weren't for sale? And all you could do was dig deeper in the people, and you had no choice to grab hold the hand of a sleeping man. The fight as we know it is coming to an ending, and what follows brings a new tone to new beginnings. What if the cops was the time every block kept watch with? And what if the street poets dinner was a safe house we could all keep watch in? And what if this is our harsh reality and we're all not clocked in, dying to get fired? The goal is to tell you something. The goal is to let you know that something's coming. The goal is to make sure we all have hard bottoms on, because those are hard to run in. Remember, every morning involves the sun in, possibly a gun to pack a prayer in. Watching, no time, we gonna wish we kept our eyes open. But instead, we closed eyes in the face of our rapists, and deep down it feels so good we face it but won't take it. Harsh, ain't it? We give it up so easy, ain't no use in faking. So street poetry will remain flagrant, burning down boundaries like sticks and seeds so we can get a whiff of what's real. What are your hopes and dreams if support wasn't money green? Would you spit to grip a million moments? Would you echo through the threshold of projects to project this project to reset our offset? The goal is to tell you something, to let you know that something's coming. The goal is to make sure we all have hard bottoms on, because those are hard to run in. Remember, every morning involves the sun in, possibly a gun to pack a prayer in. So chew through the leash on the hydrant that molds you. Shatter your glass of fear, because it's clear when it holds you. You, created only a little below the angels, have crouched too long in the bruising darkness. Something is coming. Thank you.
Well, I want to thank you for tuning in tonight. My thanks, of course, to Eric Richmond and the Brooklyn Lyceum. My thanks also to those participants in Arts Insight Poetry Shorts, and to the artist who created our lovely piece of work for our artwork of the day, adorning our desk. Naturally, if you have questions, comments, complaints, death threats, hate mail, directed to us at either our Arts Insight hotline, which you can't mail anything to the hotline, except maybe you can text me. The number is on your screen right there. Or email us at artsinsightshow@gmail.com. Or why not take a spin through our website, artsinsight.com, and visit our YouTube page. Thank you for watching Arts Insight. Make it a good one, and have a good night. Production facilities for Arts Insight provided by Film Biz Recycling, a nonprofit prop shop creating socially responsible and sustainable solutions from media industry waste.